Welcome to the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast, episode 240. On this show, we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else the gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Chad Wallace from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for broadcasts for shooters, hunters, and all things firearms related. In this show, we'll be discussing the Stngr review by Zane, some 22 snubbies, and a trigger for PCCs because we love Zane. And tonight on the podcast, we have Zane, Rob, and Tony. And who, actually, according to what I'm looking at, I have two Tonys on the podcast, which is almost scary. So which one of you guys wants to say what you did in firearms first?
You totally, completely erased what I put in the show notes.
Which I didn't see it.
That's why
it was supposed to say tonight on the podcast we have Zane, the knower of all things.
Oh yeah, at first I changed it to the knower of nothing.
Oh wow.
And then I got rid of it.
He's saying what he's saying now because before he was saying something else. So we're just using our names is fine by me because what Chad was saying before we went live, it cannot be repeated in company.
That's true, but we're a family-friendly show.
Yes, well, that's why it can't be repeated.
We're not family friendly before the show.
No.
Yeah, we're Manson family friendly on before the show.
Or the Addams family, maybe.
No, so weird. Manson, Tony's right.
I'll go first though with what I did in guns. I ordered stuff, but none of it's come in yet, so I haven't got to play with any of it yet. But I got some stuff coming in that I'm gonna do. So okay, I'll go ahead and spill the beans. It'll be fine. I'm going to do a comparison between different connectors in the Glocks. I have 3 different connectors coming in, a 3.5 pound, a 4.5 pound, and then the stock one, and then I have one from another company all coming. I'm gonna put them in all 3 of my Glocks and shoot them side by side and just kind of give my opinion of whether I think they're worth it or not and whatnot. And I'll do a little write-up on it. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I like that because I've been curious too. I just haven't accumulated enough of them.
They're not that expensive. And so I put a thread out in a couple of the groups I'm in. And like one of the guys from one of the alumni groups I'm in is like, dude, I'll just send you one. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah.
And then I ordered one from Brownells, and I got one coming from somewhere else. So I got a few different ones coming, and I'm going to put them in the 26, the 19, and the 17, and, take notes and all that fun stuff and, see what I like best.
Yeah, I like it.
Very cool.
That's pretty much all I did, though. I don't think I shot at all.
Okay.
I don't know. The week's been blending.
It's okay.
I carried a gun at least 8 days this week.
Well, remember, you weren't here last week.
Oh, no, I wasn't. No. I don't think I did anything last week either, though.
Okay.
And I'd hate to break it to him, but there's only 7 days in a week. I mean, but it's cool that you carried it 8 days.
Common Core math. We do Common Core down here.
Oh, okay. I thought
Common Core.
I thought you were just doing a Beatles song.
The people didn't try to see him shut his closet door earlier, so we won't go there.
Listen, that is not my fault.
Let's not go there.
That's not my fault.
You don't want to know what's in my closet.
I should have just left it open. I should have just left it open.
Whatever was
or
in
just
that closet,
turned your camera.
Yeah, right.
Whatever was in that closet got out, obviously, and is on the loose.
That was a gay joke. I see what you did there.
Oh, okay.
You are out of the closet, Zane.
That's pretty funny because it wasn't a gay joke. But obviously, you're projecting.
Hey, we're like Tony. We don't judge. I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine.
Hey, listen, I don't judge you, man.
I don't
let
judge
your little
either.
freak flag fly.
Yeah.
come to my diversity shoot. Bring a rainbow flag with you.
Exactly.
All right, I'm muting my microphone now.
Thank God.
Okay, Tony, you got the floor.
I took out the SR-22 from Ruger. Wanted to shoot some new groups for picks. Was using Federal federal target match ammo or whatever. And I realized I have about 6 more brands of 22. So I'm going to take that out this week and shoot that some more. I tried to use my new progressive lenses. You guys don't know, it's kind of like bifocals without the line. And supposedly you look through the bottom, you can see up close. You look through the top of the glasses for distance. I could not figure out where the heck to look with those damn things. So I ended up taking them off and putting my safety goggles back on. I'm like, these things suck. I have no idea how to use them. So I bounced on that, shooting some groups. It seems to be about 2 inches with this federal at 15 yards again. And every time, every 10-round group had one flyer that decided to go left about an inch. So ignore that little guy, because that little guy over there, he doesn't count. Other than that,
I wouldn't worry about that little
guy. I ordered some AR parts and a couple more things because I'm trying to put together a secondary rifle for our classes. Like I have the Rob rifle for the diversity shoot, but if we run an AR class or course, I still want a regular DI gun. So that's what I'm doing, putting one of those together that's all aluminum, because I do have the polymer lower. I have the G-Wax lower on my dissipator upper, and I dig that look. But if I'm teaching a class, I want to teach it on a regular AR. Forward assist, all the little AR-15 stuff that everybody's all giddy about.
Hey, Tony, it's really not any good for like defensive stuff, but for shooting purposes, they make like stick-on bifocals that you can put on the top of your lenses that I've been told are legit because you can actually see the reticle or your front sight or whatever you're looking at. You should look into it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just looking into getting rid of the glasses I have. I got 60 days and just getting a regular long distance because my eyesight isn't that bad.
LASIK, man. LASIK.
But that's
it
what I'm saying.
Doesn't help with bifocals.
No, it's true.
And it's not bad enough for anything. I mean, it was barely bad enough for glasses, according to what my doctors always said.
And also, forward assists are stupid. And I'm done.
Forward assists are ridiculous.
Zane's ridiculous.
Well.
Yeah, I agree.
Did Rob say what he did or nothing?
I didn't say what I did yet.
Go ahead.
Please tell us.
Please, I will. I went to the Treasure Coast Friends of NRA banquet on Friday, and I bought me a SIG 320 with the Romeo Romeo 1 red dot on it. Yeah, Romeo 1, and it's got the really neat little American flag. How do they do this on the side where they kind of emblazon the NRA logo and the American flag on it?
It's probably laser engraved.
Yeah, laser or brush or something. But yeah, I got it. I picked it up. And other than that, I've been dealing with family issues, so I didn't have a chance to take this to the range. But in another note, I have a friend of mine that said, well, you're going to take that to the range and shoot it? Well, yeah, what else would I do with it? Well, what'd you buy it for? It's supposed to be a collector's item.
To shoot?
I bought it to shoot it. This is the same friend of mine that's got one of those double 1911, the mutant 1911 that they glue two of them together with, and they won't shoot it because, this is a collector's item. I said, I'm not going to buy a collector's item.
Who said it's a collector's item?
A neighbor of mine.
It's a monument to a fool and his money soon being separated. That's all that is.
That's what I said. If you let me borrow that gun, I'll put a few hundred rounds through it in a weekend.
I mean, to be fair, they're only making a certain amount with the Friends NRA logo, but at the same time, like, I'm not going to have a gun that I can't shoot.
Yeah,
like,
it's a SIG 320. It's got a really cool logo, and it's probably got the NRA. I didn't see a serial number. Yeah, here it is. No, they didn't even put a special serial number on this. Normally they'll put a special serial number.
Have you dropped it yet?
Oh, no, there we go.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm sorry. I regret. I didn't say that first. Good job.
Good job, Chad.
Yeah, well, once in a while I come through for you guys.
Hey, even a broken
I'll try dropping
twice a day.
That's right.
Don't drop it, Rob. Don't.
But it's also got night sights on it too.
Hey, Rob. Not a hair on your butt. You don't load that up with a full mag and toss it up in the air and let it fall right now.
I gotta go to the back to get the ammo.
Smart guy. Well, I guess I'll go. I actually did quite a bit this weekend, if you believe it or not.
Don't believe it.
Yeah, okay. Saturday,
Liar.
Saturday, somewhat close by is Thor Targets. They make steel targets and stands. They'd opened a gun shop up just a few months ago, maybe. Well, they had their grand opening, so I went there. I didn't win anything, if you guys can believe it, but they had prizes, they had free stuff, all kinds of stuff. It was kind of nice to talk to them and see stuff like that. And I've been shooting their steel targets for years because they supply the targets for our outdoor range, and then friends of mine also have their targets. So I knew what they were like. So that's pretty cool. They make good stuff. Then Sunday we went out, ran some drills, took the sub gun out, let some people one guy had never shot a machine gun, so he got to shoot that with the 9 and the 22 conversion on it. In fact, I think he called it something like a pew with a hush something on it or something. It was pretty funny. I don't remember because I'm old. So yeah, we shot a bunch of stuff, had some fun, ran some drills, and so that was about all I did. Guess we'll get on to the announcements. Our bandwidth sponsors, our buddies at Patriot Patch Co. They got new patches for pre-order, which is the retro NES engine patch and also the pumpkin spice patch. Patch of the month club is going on. Join it. They send out cool patches. The August is the boating safety month, so I don't know what next month is, but I'm sure they'll be cool. If you're shopping Amazon, please use our affiliate link at firearmsradio.tv/Amazon. And if you want to shop Black Bag Resources and donate stuff to the 2A4E diversity shoot, use the code 2A4E at checkout, and all the stuff in your cart will be donated to Tony.
Awesome. And we could use a couple more GI Tantos. What I'm going to do is those GI Tantos are probably going to go up for patrons, or we'll do something because we want to get those to people. We're going to serialize it and put our logo on it.
Nice.
We want to make something different.
And you really, really need pistol grips, right? Lots of pistol grips.
A2s. Only A2s.
I was going to say insert A2 pistol grip joke here.
You should have. Yeah.
I got them together one day because, again, sent the rifle everyone helped us build, all the parts and everything. Well, I had to get everything together, and I just kept pulling A2 pistol grip after A2 pistol grip. I'm like, okay, we got olive drab, we have desert tan, we got like 3 black ones. One of my a-hole friends, Angelo, made a 3D printed A2 grip just to be a dork.
Oh, nice.
Oh, dude, it's hilarious.
Do you have any submarine gray?
No, and we don't have stealth gray, submarine gray, sneak up on you, slap you in the back of the head gray.
Man,
what about battleship gray?
But here's the funny part, because we know how I feel about that stupid gray crap. Over the weekend, Palmetto State Armory had a sale for $299 on a friggin' AR kit with gray furniture. Guess what I got coming?
An AR kit with gray furniture? With blue furniture!
It's Karate Chop Gray. I'm going to go ahead and give it its own name. I'm making up my own stuff.
Listen,
Karate Chop.
A couple cans of Krylon, and you'll be set.
Oh, yeah.
All right, calm down, rattle can, Johnny.
Listen, I will rattle can anything.
Yeah, we know. Rob, you're up.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual co-hosts and do not reflect the official policy or position of the Firearms Radio Network and or their employers. Viewer discretion is advised. This is especially true on live shows. And now for some stupid handguard thing. Go ahead, Zane.
Oh, geez. What a terrible intro. We're going to have to fire this guy.
That was.
Or dock my pay, right?
Yeah, we'll dock your pay.
Okay. Wait a minute. You don't pay me nothing.
I know.
I have a handguard. And if you're watching live, you can see it because I have a rifle. This is it's pronounced Stngr. It's spelled Stgnr. They left out all the vowels, so we're not playing Jeopardy here. This is a Raptor handguard, and they were kind enough to. I think it's pronounced. Fortune? Well, whatever it is.
Wheel of Fortune.
That's what it's totally what I meant.
Uh-huh.
Good catch there, Tony.
You're welcome.
I'm too young to watch those shows, you know. So, and Raptor is also spelled without vowels, so I just assume it's pronounced Raptor. But this is a 15-inch handguard, and it is M-LOK, officially licensed M-LOK, and at the very end it has quad pick rail, and I requested that I asked them for that particular model. They make models without that. It is this handguard. Well, Chad will tell you, when I first got it, I did not think I was going to like this at all. I text Chad and I was like, so how do I nicely trash a product that was sent to me for free? Like, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to trash this thing. And luckily that wasn't the case. I spent several months trying to break it unsuccessfully. So get into what I did with it.
Are you sure you're a Marine if you couldn't break it?
Well, so I could break it if I went and out slammed it against the concrete, I'm sure I could break it. But through heavy duty use, I couldn't break it.
Send it to me. Send it to me.
Tony wants to break it.
No.
Wow, look at that evil voice.
Right? He got excited there. 920. And installation is stupid easy. You literally put their low profile barrel nut on. And because it's low profile, you don't have to time anything. There's no spacers and shims you have to use. None of that. You just wrench it down to the proper torque and then throw the handguard over top of it. The barrel nut is made of aluminum, which I'm not very keen on. They do offer a steel barrel nut. You got to pay a little extra for it. If I decide to keep this on the gun, I'll probably just order their steel barrel nut. I haven't had any problems with the aluminum barrel nut, and I don't know that it would ever be a problem. There's something inside of me that doesn't want an aluminum barrel nut on my gun. It has two QD attachments for slings at both sides at the very, very receiver end. There's no QD attachments out towards the muzzle end, which is kind of disappointing, but I use the Way of the Gunsling, which doesn't have QDs anyway, so it's not a big deal for me. Once you get it on, there's two little anti-rotational wings that line up with the receiver. And these wings were what I was extremely concerned about. They're very tiny, and they're 6061 aluminum, and I just knew I'd be able to snap them off or bend them or something because they're small. And to be fair, for use with a billet receiver, you will have to cut these or grind those wings off. At least it says in the instructions. I put it on a forged receiver, so I can't.
I think it depends on whose.
Yeah, I'm sure it will, but it does say in the installation instructions that for billet receivers you may have to grind those off. All my stuff is forged, so that's not a thing for me. Like I said, it's officially licensed M-LOK. It's got, it's got your pick at the top, obviously, and it's M-LOK all the way around. It's a clamp-on style, like I said, so you don't have to time anything. There's nothing crazy about it. It's stupid simple to install. However, you do need to install the clamp bolts to the proper torque, which is 20 to 30 inch-pounds. I don't have an inch-pound torque wrench. So the first time I put it on, I think I put it on a little light, and I was able to twist it ever so slightly. So I put it on a little bit hand tighter, and worked fine from there. So the first time I took it out of the range, and the first thing I did was just shoot a bunch of rounds through it. And it got hot fast. That is one downside to it. As you can see if you're watching, There's a lot of open space there, which keeps it lightweight. It's 11 and change ounces. I think 11.6 something. It's in my review, but I don't have it pulled up. But it's just over 11 and a half ounces without the barrel nut. So it's pretty lightweight, but it gets hot quick. After 60 rounds, it was starting to get hot. By 90 rounds, I either needed a glove or go to an old school magwell grip. That's just, one of the sacrifices you're going to make for a lightweight handguard. So we did that. The next thing I did was I wanted to see how much flex it had, because with full length rails, 16-inch gun, 15-inch handguard, they have quite a bit of flex to them. If you can see on the camera, I can move it quite a bit. From the prone position at 25 yards, using sling tension, using a good hasty sling, I was able to move the strike of the round by use of the backup iron sights 5 to 6 inches just by putting sling tension on the rail. That is a concern if you're going to use rail-mounted optics. If you're going to use irons only or some sort of a laser device or something like that, that is something, or even especially in conjunction with a sling or a bipod, that is something to be aware of. It's a thing. If your primary optic is quality and it sits on the rail, which mine is a Vortex, arguably is or isn't quality, depending on what camp you sit in. It's a rail mount. It's a receiver mounted optic. So it's not an issue with a primary optic. It's only an issue when you get into rail mounted, optics. But like I said, at 25 yards, just by putting some, I was cranking down on the sling, but I was able to move the strike of the round between 5 and 6 inches pretty consistently. So that could be a concern if you're looking for something to run rail mounted optics. The only other issue I had with it is, like I said, I was able to, over the course of about 1,000 rounds, torque it ever so slightly because there's a teeny bit of play in those anti-rotational wings, probably to accommodate certain billet receivers. I was able to get it to one side or the other, but once I wrenched the nuts back down, I didn't have that problem again. Overall, I'm impressed with this. So let's okay. So the elephant in the room is, how much does it cost? This is a made in America, according to their website, 15-inch handguard, and it's coming in at under $150. 6061 aluminum. That's pretty cheap for comparable rails, which is why I expected to break it, because I reached out to some people in the industry and there's no way they can make a quality rail in this country for that price. And so far, it seems like it is a quality rail. I spent the next trip at the range with my notch wall and my barricades, just overly abusively just slamming this thing against every barricade I could find, like for no reason, like no tactical purpose, just getting into position and just slamming it in different positions, jamming it against barricades. I abused this rail quite a bit, and I wasn't able to bend the anti-rotational wings. I wasn't even able to put any marks on it. That's why I haven't painted it yet, because I haven't even scratched it yet. I usually wait till I scratch it before I paint it. So I gotta say, I was impressed. I did not have high hopes for it, but I was thoroughly impressed. And you can read the full review. Oh, one other thing is I found myself oversteering it just a little bit because of the quad pick at the end. It's a little muzzle heavy, but they make ones that don't have the quad at the end. And I'd probably, if I had to do it again, I probably would get one that didn't have that on it. Just because every attachment I have right now is Picatinny. So I figured might as well get it. But really all I put's a front sight and a light on guns anyway. So let's move into the 8 key points. Claim to fame. This is an aluminum free float handrail, and it's made in America. Target market is anybody with an AR-15. Features and benefits. It's free floated. Officially licensed M-Lock. 2 quick detach point attachments for a sling. It's a full length, 16-inch gun, 15-inch rail. Got quad rail at the muzzle end. It's 3 slots at the muzzle end. I can't talk today. And it comes with Stingr's lifetime warranty. Other options available is they have rails from 7 to 15 inches in M-Lock or key mod, and they with or without the 3-slot quad pick rail at the muzzle end. I got another review from someone else in the actual review. Got to go to the show notes to read that. Price point, $134.99 at the time of writing. And there are blemish rails available right now, or at least yesterday when I got on their website, for $119.99. So for $120, you can have a blim rail. So if you're a rattle can guy like me, just go buy a blim rail. Save a couple bucks.
Typically, anytime I've ever bought a blim something, you can't even really tell. So
someone has to tell you.
Probably
someone has to tell you what
they literally have to point. Usually, they have to point it out to you. Like I have a New Frontier Armory blim lower. That's my PCP, and I had to look really hard to find the blemish on it. I finally found it, but it took me a while. So I mean, especially if you're a rattle can guy, or if you don't care what your stuff looks like, if you're going to actually use it. Just go buy a blim rail from them. I need it now availability from their website, which is stngrusa.com. Again, there's no vowels except for the A in USA.
And if you go to the firearmsinsider.tv and look at the review, you can just click on the link and it'll take you there.
Oh, yeah. We linked everything. And when I say we, I mean Chad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a question.
Yeah.
I got a question for you since it's us. I remember you have that Bushnell flashlight on there.
Yep. Still got it on there.
Yeah, I see that in the photo. What's the lumens on that?
It's not anything at all.
That the 150?
No. That one's it's a like 350 or 400 on this one.
No, I had the smaller one. No, I just saw it in here because my whole thing is weapons mounted light is cool unless it weighs more than your gun.
Yeah. Well, and I've been trying to break the Bushnell. That's why I have it out past the muzzle, and I've had it with the last rail on there too, because I'm waiting for the muzzle blast to break it because it's literally a $50 light. Yep. And it's not near bright enough for my liking, but I can't seem to break it. So, and I'm going to do a review on this one too. I did a review on the little tiny one a while back. I'm going to do a review on this one. And to be fair, when I was talking about oversteer, I had the light in the same exact position on my last rail. So, okay. But yeah, I'm still trying to break this light. And it's not near bright enough for me because I like all of the lumens. But I'm still playing with this. This isn't a duty gun. This isn't a home defense gun. This is just, what I play with. So moving on to our rating, the pros. And honestly, it gets the job done. The price is a major pro for this thing. Made in America, if that, matters to you. Me personally, I don't really care where things made as long as it's quality, but some people are big on made in America. It's free float and installation is stupid simple. There's no timing involved. You don't have to use shims, any of that. The cons, it's got quite a bit of flex to it. Gets hot pretty quick. And there are some very small tolerance issues on the wings. So I gave this a score of 7.5, which is good. And I can recommend this to people. I probably wouldn't recommend this for a duty gun if you're a copper type. I probably wouldn't recommend it. But for home defense or the casual plinker or even the competition guy, I would take a serious look at Stngr. I don't know. I like it. It's pretty good.
Sweet.
Yeah, there's a couple of that it's around the same price point. You check it out, you look into it, or you catch them on sale. Arrow Precision has some of their stuff on sale. Bushnell has some Arrow Precision stuff on sale for a 1-day sale. It was ridiculous. I was looking at it going, oh my goodness, I can buy. And then I was like, okay, calm down. I got one coming, and I still have to buy ammo and everything else. But I've been looking at these. Didn't we do a review on this before, or Ryan did a review way back in the day, Chad?
I think Chad did one on a gun tech rail.
I have a couple on gun tech rails, and they're in about the same price range, and they're made in Arizona, so they are US made. They are still 6061. One of their regular attachment, they use shims, so if you can't get the proper torque, you have to shim your barrel nut.
So I have a gun tech rail on my PCP, and the biggest pain in the rear was timing that barrel nut and everything. Like, it's not a bad rail, but again, on that, it's a 4-inch rail.
Right.
So I can't talk to the flex and all that.
They flex. Both the ones I have about the same amount of flex. The ones you have to time are the ones that the handguard actually screws to the barrel nut. Right. They do have a few clamp-on ones, and I have one of those that they sent, and it's nicer because it's a clamp-on and it clamps tight. It's just it sits, at least the one I have, sits slightly lower than the receiver rail, which is a problem.
Yeah, no, this is perfectly even. Yeah,
but their other one sits perfectly even, so I don't know if it's something in their tolerance, but it's the same kind of thing. A 15-inch rail made of 6061 is gonna flex.
Yep, you're gonna get flex out of it, and it's something to be aware of. I mean, if that's an issue for you, you're going to have to spend some coin to get a rail and you're going to have to deal with some weight.
And that's the thing, is you're going to have to deal with weight if you don't want flex, at least more weight. And that's, and for 90% of the people, it doesn't matter, because even you're not running a laser or something on the front. So your optics mounted on your receiver, so it doesn't matter. And
even if I were running a laser, it only is a problem when you're using the laser in conjunction with a sling or a bipod. It takes both to throw the aiming off. So if you're loading a bipod and using a laser, you're going to get some point of impact shifts. If you're loading a sling and using a laser or a rail mount front sight, but if you're just doing one or the other, you're gonna be fine. So I think it's a decent rail. And again, you remember when I first got it, I texted you and I was like, dude,
I do.
I don't think it's gonna work. I don't want to trash this company because they were nice enough to send this to me, but I will. But it turned out that didn't have to happen, because I actually, I like this. It's a good piece of kit.
Which actually says a lot for him, because you get it and you're like, I don't know about this, and then you run it for a while, which is what we like to do. Then you find if the flaws are there or not, and you ran it and you found out, I actually kind of like this.
And that's partly what took me so long to get this review out, because I was like, well, I didn't break it yet, but let me take it back out and slam it against the barricades a little more. I'm sure I can break this thing.
Well, that's the thing. I've even taken them so far as I've literally taken a rifle, and at our range we have these wooden benches on the short range, and I literally took it and like whacked it on this wooden thing at the end of the rail a few times, like hard, just to see, and nothing happened. It's like,
I have video of me like running into place and like slamming this thing. Like, I actually broke my notch wall at one point because I like slammed it through one of the boards.
Right.
In there, like, I was overly abusing it. Like, I would have no reason to legitimately like slam, but I wanted to give it, some real world application, stuff that may or may not happen,
Yep, and I do that too. Like with the handguards, I won't slam them up a port door, but we have there's 4x4s that hold the roof on the range. So
Mm.
you slam it up against there, and you use it as support. Like on the end, you just slam it up there and shoot some targets, and so it's the same kind of deal. And if they're going to loosen up or something, that's when that's going to happen.
And like I said, should I decide to keep it, which I probably will keep it on that gun because I like it. I'll probably go ahead and order their steel barrel nut. I don't know about I haven't had any problems with it, but at the same time, I don't know about aluminum barrel nut. I'm just Well, but I mean, it keeps the weight down. It keeps the price down, I guess.
Well, you're screwing it. Your barrel goes into an aluminum piece anyway.
Yeah, that's true. It's aluminum. It's aluminum extension. So
yeah, the receiver is where it slides in, and so I don't know so much.
I don't know if it's a problem or not. It seemed kind of weird, but like I said, no issues with it.
Yeah, so that's good. Well, great review, Zane.
Thank you, sir.
Now we're going to get into the product spotlight and discussion, which thanks to Zane, we put these two 22 J-frame Smith & Wesson revolvers in here because it was his idea. And they are the 43C and the 351C. And they both have an MSRP of $689. And what the basic differences are is one is a 22 long rifle. Let me see which one's which. And that is
43 is a 22 long rifle.
Right. And it holds 8 shots. And the 351C is a 22 Magnum, and it holds 7 shots. Barrel length is pretty much 1.875, I think. They're pretty much a J-frame snubby revolver, hammerless. It looks like they're made on their their super lightweight
airweight
aluminum alloy frame.
So basically these are 11.5 ounce double action only J frames.
Yes.
And if you know anything about J frames, 11.5 ounces is stupid light.
That's what your handguard weighs.
Yeah, it literally weighs what the handguard weighs without the barrel nut.
Yeah, but you're talking shooting 22, so it doesn't need to be that stout.
Correct. And that's why it's so light, because the cylinder is made of aluminum instead of steel, where most J-frames use a steel cylinder. The reason these caught my attention is because I've been kind of looking into this snubby thing lately, and I have a specific role that I feel like snubbies play. And for me, it's all about the weight. I mean, if weight's not an issue, if I'm wearing a proper belt and weight's not an issue, I can conceal a Glock 19 just as easy as I can conceal a snubby. I mean, they're about the same size, realistically. Maybe a little bigger, but realistically, I can get away. If I'm wearing shorts and a tank top, if I have a proper belt on, Glock 19 is no problem to carry. Where the snubby shines is when weight's an issue. So when you're not wearing a belt, when you need to use an ulti clip or whatever Dark Star Gear's little clip is, they call
whatever.
And so I found these things, and I'm like, that's really light.
Well,
and
do you remember? Have you ever shot one of the airweight 38s?
No, but I've shot an LCR 38 because I have one.
Well, the airweights are those things are. I think they're even lighter. They're lighter than the LCR.
No, the
LCR
I got the LCR. The LCR is 14.5 ounces.
Right.
The one I have. The 38. Their 22 model is like 16 ounces.
Okay.
Which makes no sense, but
that's what I compared. I compared 22 to 22
because that's
I was looking at them both.
Because when I first saw this, I looked up what the LCR in 22 is, and I'm like, wait, why is it heavier than my 38? It doesn't compute. Like,
something, maybe the steel cylinder or something.
I'm sure it's just because it has more metal in the cylinder but my thought process is when you're sub 9mm, 380, 38, whatever, you really start have to pay an attention to your ammo selection a lot more. Like if you're 9, 40, 45, there are 20, 30 rounds that pass FBI specs. when you get below 9, there's really not. And the only round I've found for 38 that consistently across all the channels passes is the Federal Micro Load, and it's a plus P round, and it's not fun to shoot like at all. I'm just feel like I'd rather just throw wad cutters in it and call it a day. Right. So if I can get – so my whole thought process when looking at these – and these are not new revolvers. I've just stumbled across them. And my whole thought process, if I can get 3 less ounces and 3 more rounds that I can still get 16 to 18 inches of penetration on, I don't care about expansion because let's get the little schoolgirl jokes out. Penetration's more important than expansion. I'll take that. I'll take 60% more ammo in a much lighter gun.
So, again, to reiterate, you really dig penetration. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I said get them out there.
So much for family friendly.
Yeah, right.
What? I don't know what you guys talking about.
What, Zane? Go ahead, Tony.
I was actually, because I really looked into this because, of course, I think it's interesting. Also, they've hollowed and shaved the 43 every instance they can. Everything has been hollowed out and flattened out and worked to get this lightweight. So I'm looking up, reviews on it, and I'm also looking to see who uses it. Now, I don't know if you guys know the tactical professor.
Oh, yeah.
Claude Warner, this is actually one of his favorites and one of his carry guns. And he compared this, ran it with the LCR, ran it with Smith & Wesson Airweight in 38, and then ran this 43C. And, of course, the 43C kicked butt over all of them in the drills he runs. He has specific drills he runs based on accuracy and time. And this thing shines through. Now, me, myself, I like something like this as a trainer if you have a J-frame because it's a lot less painful to shoot this 22.
A lot cheaper.
Gets a lot cheaper, a lot less painful to get a bunch of repetitions shooting a J-frame with that 12-plus pound trigger pull that you have to get used to with any J-frame because any J-frame, any small pistol this size is an expert's gun. You have to put in time. I love the people that go, I want my wife to have something like this because it's little and now she can't even pull the trigger. And so that works great with this. Also as a deep cover secondary backup, also as that run to the store gun, also as that gun loaded with snake shot for when you going out fishing or going out on a day trip or something and you don't want to carry something heavier and you're in a wooded area, you can use that as snake shot, 8 rounds of it, and you're good to go.
And again, the other thing is when you're talking about for a backup gun, man, you start putting something on your ankle, weight's a thing. Like weight is a thing at that point. You can screw up your back like bad by putting too much weight on your ankle. So for comparison, a Glock 42 in 380 weighs just under 15 ounces unloaded. So, and honestly, I shoot a J-frame better than I shoot a Glock 42 because of the grip. And I've just recently come to this realization because I'm just getting into wheel guns, but I realized, these are actually, as long as you can work that trigger, they're easier to hang on to. The trigger's, a learning curve. And you're talking about, what's his name? The tactical professor.
Yeah, Claude Warner.
Two other people, Claude Warner. Yeah, 2 other people that I've seen have these are John Johnston and Chuck Haggard. And so there's 3 people right there that I'm gonna pay attention to when they talk. I think both of them have the 22 mag version, and I'd be interested in see the difference between mag and LR out of that sub 2-inch barrel.
You have about a 250 feet per second difference.
And that might justify the loss of 1 round for the 22 mag. But for like what you're saying, the training aspect, I mean, 22 LR is cheap as dirt. And if I can get a 22 LR that'll penetrate 16 to 18 inches, whether it's a CCI mini mag, I don't know. I haven't looked into ballistics, so I'm not saying they do. But whatever it is, if I can find something that's made with quality. And the other thing with rimfire is typically I shy away from rimfire because of ignition issues and whatnot. But in a revolver, your immediate action is just press the trigger again. Like if you're gonna fail your fire, you just press the trigger again.
Right, Zane. The other thing with the 22 mag version is like CCI loads up some 22 mags with their gold dot ones. They make the gold dot.
I still don't know if I would run a hollow point.
I don't know. I don't know how much they expand or anything, but if you owned one of these, it would be worth trying out.
Oh, sure.
Well, my thing with
I'd like to see Lucky Gunner, whom I love. Lucky Gunner. I know some people think, oh, well, they don't follow the FBI protocol. Well, there's a reason they don't, but whatever. I'd like to see them really like dive into the 22 and 22 mag ballistics like they did with the snub nose 38-7 stuff.
Yep.
Like I would like to see that. I would love to see that. So if you're listening, Lucky Gunner, do that, please.
Yeah, I'm actually on their page right now. I'm on their page looking at stuff right now. This is what I like about the revolver. The get the heck off me gun, the bad breath distance, the belly gun, whatever you're talking about. Yeah, if it's that bad and they're on you, you can press that into someone and pull the trigger and not have to worry about out of batteries. The firearm not working. The other thing about 22s, 22 Magnum, you got to depend on penetration, not hollow points.
Yep. Yeah, and that's honestly anything sub 9 mil, unless you really do your research. There's not a lot of 380s and there's not a lot of 38s out of those super short barrels that really get you both. So once you drop past 9 mil, you really got to do some ammo selection research.
Yep. But you should do that anyway.
Absolutely.
Yes.
There are no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts. And that's one of the things that even this, it's lightweight. I'll just store it in my pants pocket. And people, because they're lazy and don't want to carry because their Glock 19 pulls their pants down, will get a better belt and put on your adult underwear and man up. Unless you're just running out and doing something, this shouldn't be your primary. I'm sorry, but
nope. And
situations arise.
Yeah, and we just had a whole thread on this in primary and secondary, and I was in the comments pretty heavily and stuff. My snubby serves a purpose. Being South Florida, it's a swim trunks gun. I mean, that's what it's for. It's for when I'm not wearing a belt and I'm in some, super skimpy clothing, running around the beach or the pool.
Oh man, I did not need that visual.
I'll post pictures to the Instagram later if you really
I'm
want.
I'm so glad I do not follow you on Instagram.
But like I said, if I'm wearing a proper belt, I'm gonna have it a Glock 19.
You're gonna have a proper gun.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a proper gun. Proper belt. I'm gonna have a real gun. Without a belt, I'm gonna have a wheel gun.
There you go.
And really, but I will totally give up, 38 for 22 for 60% more ammo capacity. I'm thinking that's a fair trade. And
again, you don't have to do all the research yourself, especially with a guy. If you're looking at these, even if you're looking at any wheel gun, Claude Werner has done his research. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's
been there, done that.
Yeah.
Been there, done that. Special forces. He's real analytical. He doesn't do anything without a reason. So I'm not saying blindly follow the dude, but if the guy has put in the work, why not check out and see what he's doing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Chuck Haggard's a good resource on that. And oddly enough, the Obscene Sailor on Facebook actually has some pretty good snubby posts out there. And shout out to Lee if he's watching. But he's got some pretty good wheel gun posts going on lately.
Well, that's the other thing I was going to say.
Yo,
you check out that link I sent you in the
show notes.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
I was going to say both of these, the 22 mag and the 22 long rifle, they both run an XS white dot front sight and a U-notch rear. So, it is what it is.
There is a downside. There is a downside to them. They're not cheap.
Well, right. They're $689 retail list. So, but it's not like you're not getting something worth it. I mean, you pay for less weight, kind of, is what you're doing.
Yep.
Now, the crazy thing though is that price point, and I've listened to people argue. I'm like, yo, dude, I'm getting an aluminum gun. All right, that kind of annoys me a little bit. You know what I mean? It's not like
when you buy a Glock, you're getting a plastic gun.
But you know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, but the price point, this costs more than a Glock.
I know.
This clock costs as much as like a Glock 30.
No, I mean, and that's so. I was looking at it and I was like, man, I was debating selling my LCR to pick up one of these, and I'm like, but it's almost twice the price as the LCR. Like, even it's almost twice the price of their 38 version of this. Their 442 and 642.
Right.
So it's not a cheap gun, but if it certainly fits a niche role. And I'm on record on this show of being a 22 hater. But that being said, I feel like these guns do fit a niche role for what the Snubby's good for. And I think it's worth taking a look at if you're looking for something like that.
It's amazing as Zane gets older, he becomes more wise.
Yeah. Experience does that.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, before we know it, he'll actually be shooting non-Glocks and carrying a non-Glock.
Stop it. You're going to scare him.
Let's not get carried away. Let's not get carried away.
Wait, he's going to say, guess what I bought? I got me a Smith & Wesson M&P as a carry gun.
No, still got right now rocking the 19 Gen 5 with the TRL1 HL as a primary. And that's in shorts and a t-shirt and flip-flops, by the way, all day today. So,
dude, will you stop with the visuals?
I'm just saying.
Well, we can turn his camera off, but I figured like Tony wants to look at him or something. I don't know.
Oh, I do.
And but now,
I the long story short, I sent these to Chad. I was like, I think these are kind of cool. And even Tony thought I was going to crap all over these, but I was like, no, I actually think they, serve a very, very niche role.
When Tony posted that this morning, I'm thinking to myself, that's kind of funny because he doesn't know that Zane actually sent me these.
Well, that's all right. This is what I'm doing. I told you, this is what I'm doing tomorrow. I have 5 different 22 long rifle brands that I'm checking out in this SR22.
Right.
And that's what you'd have to do if you got one of these. You really have to check them out and see where they shot, because these sights aren't adjustable. Also,
I'm gonna say one good thing about the revolvers is unlike the semi-autos, they are probably not finicky on what kind of ammo you load in them.
Yep. And they're not gonna have like rim lock or anything like none of that nonsense.
None of that.
The other thing I would probably do if I got one of these is I would probably spend the money and order some legit ballistics gel and wait till the temperature got about right. I think 75 is the protocol for FBI or whatever. And I would actually run them rounds through it myself, just because I have not found any good. I found some ballistic tests on the YouTubes, but it was like, Bubba John and, Uncle Leroy, like out in the backyard. And I'm like, eh.
So out in the back with Florida, like Zane.
TN Outdoors, he does. He has a few of those. If you check him out, he has legitimate ballistics gel. He cuts it open. He does the FBI protocol with the BBs and everything. And he has good videos, but he doesn't have a lot of them in 22. But at least he does have them. And he went from using the tapioca colored ballistic gel to using the clear. So he may have both. So that's something to check out if you want.
Cool. I'll check it out. Like I said, I'm not concerned with it passing full FBI specs as long as it gets 12 to 18 inches of penetration, which for the listeners does not translate to 12 to 18 inches of penetration in a person. in 10% calibrated ballistics gel. 12 to 18 inches is what the people that are way smarter than me says translate to roughly where you need to be to kill peoples. So it's not a direct comparison, because I see people on the internet talking about, well, most people's only about 4 inches. It's just no, it's not. Like, people spent millions of dollars figuring this out. It's not a correlation. It's literally like, this is what you need. So, and I wouldn't worry about auto glass, and I wouldn't worry about intermediate barriers, anything like that. I just want bare ballistics gel and maybe a couple layers of denim, because South Florida, we don't really wear heavy clothing down here. So
I like it. I like this. I like the application. Carrying it, again, no shortcuts, but as a backup, or as that I'm running to the store gun. Even though bad things can happen to you running to the store, it's better to be armed with something than nothing.
Yep.
And you got to learn to shoot this well. If you can't shoot this well, you might as well not have it. And if you haven't tried to pull a 12+ pound trigger on a snubby and watch what that does, if you don't practice, you're going to learn today.
It will hurt. I shot dot torture with my 38, and it crushed me. I was like, I can clean this like hungover on like 8 cups of coffee with my Glock. Like, I get out there with a 10 pound, and the LCR actually has a pretty decent double action trigger, and I'm like throwing rounds all over the place. I'm like, this is terrible.
I used to shoot bowling pins with. When I had a snubby, it was just a 38, but I would shoot bowling pins that, just set them up on a table like a old school bowling pin shoot and shoot them because, it's good practice because they're skinny for the trigger pull. That's what I do.
And the other thing is, don't break state, federal, or local laws, but snubbies are great for non-permissive environments when you're going places where you're not supposed to carry a gun. Obviously, don't break the law, because breaking the law is wrong. Yes. But if you're going somewhere where it's frowned upon, not necessarily legal, or especially if you're going to or from, like in my case, a lot of times I might go from the beach to a place where it's frowned upon to carry a gun, and I'm by myself. I don't have a bag. Like,
what, you mean the strip club?
No, that would be illegal in Florida, and I don't break federal, state, or local laws.
There we go. Well, now that we know
Zane, about trigger pull, just remember, there's a reason they have the New York trigger for Glocks.
Yeah, because people are stupid.
Since we're talking about trigger pulls,
nice segue.
Good segue. That was good.
We can get into the CMC PCC trigger that they just introduced, and it has an MSRP of $189.99. See, I'm getting better at this crap. Okay, I was just waiting. Basically, what it amounts to is CMC Triggers took one of their triggers and they came out with one for a PCC. I kind of put this in here not because they came out with it, but because I did have problems with one of their competitors' triggers in a PCC. You can get it in curved or straight, just as always. It has a 3.5 pound pull. It says they developed it because of the rise in PCCs. They retooled it to maximize their production capacities, et cetera, and it's single stage trigger like most of them. You can get different pull weights, I think, but they are not adjustable. They do have a sear engagement overlap, so they say it's 6 to 8 times greater than their competitors. They have a smoother finish on their parts because of the way they machine it. And they said basically with this is, I was reading somewhere that it has a different geometry so that the trigger does not want to follow the hammer down, or basically the reset or something is better, which is kind of, I never did fully diagnose the problem I was having. If it was the trigger was being pulled by me because of recoil with my other trigger, or if it was just from being that they're straight blowback. Most PCCs, they're pretty harsh.
A lot of 9 mil bolts do not interface well with your standard.
Right. That there is that.
And I have a feeling that's what they address. One of the main things they addressed here.
Right. And I think the other thing was the different geometry so that you had more positive sear engagement so that the trigger didn't bounce off the sear.
Right.
Like, which I think was what was happening with mine. And for the record, mine is not one of these. So it's one of their competitors, and I switched it out for a different trigger so I didn't have that problem. But I thought it was a good idea. I mean, somebody's making these. They are their drop-in trigger. The price isn't terrible. I prefer curved triggers, so I put the curved trigger in the show notes, but they make the same one in a straight trigger. I don't know if there's anything else I can say on it besides they look like they'd work fairly well. They do come with one anti-walk pins, which is kind of a plus. So what do you guys think about this thing?
It's a trigger.
Hey.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any experience with CMC triggers personally, but my understanding is they make a pretty decent product.
Yeah, I've shot a few. I've never owned one. Shot some of their Glock triggers, and I've never heard anything terrible about them. Just they make a trigger, and it works.
Yeah, that's pretty same with me. I've never shot a CMC trigger. I fell in love with the Overwatch precision triggers for Glocks, and I've not shot a single other trigger. And with ARs, my A2 trigger is fine because I don't shoot past like 25 yards.
You hush up.
I mean, I'm just saying,
Anyway.
like if I was gonna build a gun, for 100 or 200 yards, like if I was gonna whatever you want to call that.
Really?
I don't want to call it anything special, but like if I was gonna build a gun for that, yeah, I'd put a decent trigger in it and I'd put a decent optic on it. But man, I don't do that.
I've used Trojan Firearm Centers. Pretty cool. Easy installation, one piece, and it's done, which was cool. So I see the same thing with this. CMC makes decent triggers. I've never heard anyone trash them. 3-pound trigger pull, 3.5-pound trigger pull. That's just crisp. It should be, and should be something awesome. I don't know, man. I'd like to check it out, but I don't have a pistol caliber carbine. I don't have an AR pistol caliber carbine. But listen, if you guys want to put some work in it, make one for High Point.
No, Zane, they did not make this for you. They didn't make it for pistol caliber pistols. They made it for pistol caliber carbines. So I'm gonna have to be the one to try it out.
Pretty much. And seeing as Zane doesn't shoot anything past 25 yards, I mean, what's the difference?
I mean, I will. I'll try it.
Yeah, remember he tries to shoot at night 100 yards with a pistol and a light.
Yeah.
It's so isn't that weird? Like I shoot more often at 100 yards with my pistol than I do with my rifle. I don't understand.
That's not weird. Knowing you, who you put almost $1,000 into making a pistol caliber pistol, and you shoot your handgun out to 100, but only your rifle out to 25. No, man, that's par for course.
I'm a pistol guy, man. It's funny. I was in an argument on the old F book earlier about. Well, I'll tell you after the show. I don't. It's anyways. Okay.
Here's the funny thing. If you guys don't know, an argument with his shadow on.
No.
To watch though.
Okay. Well, I guess since you guys don't have anything else to say on this, we'll go to the listener feedback. We do have an iTunes review. It is by R. Shaw 1911. He gave us 5 stars. Thank you. It says, "Y'all are getting me in trouble." That's the headline or whatever. It says, I love this friggin' show, but you're going to get me in trouble at home because I'm going to end up spending way too much money on the stuff that I hear about on here. Keep it coming. This is definitely one of my favorite podcasts to listen to. Well, we thank you.
Wow.
Well, that's a good thing, though.
I know. So
you just all you gotta do is learn to prioritize what you really need, and then learn how to sweet talk how to spend the money.
No, screw that. Just learn how to hide stuff so she doesn't find it.
This is coming from Zane.
Listen,
one of the single guys on the podcast.
So here's how I justify it to myself. I think to myself, I say, self, I would really like a Desert Eagle in 50 caliber. And I'm like, you're an idiot. You don't need that. I'm like, but you do need that new fiber optic sight for that LCR. I'm like, well, that's something I need. And then I can, buy that.
Oh, I like that idea.
See?
I tried that crap on me, and I wound up with the optic and the Desert Eagle.
Well, it works with me.
It doesn't work with me.
And I do have a fiber
I
optic.
need that Desert Eagle and that Desert Eagle and that Desert Eagle. Okay, cool.
I did that, and I have a fiber optic sight on the way for the snubby, but I do not have a Desert Eagle on the way. So it works for me. You find something you really want and tell yourself that's stupid, you don't need it. Then find something a lot cheaper and be like, well, I can totally justify buying that. There you go.
Okay, whatever you say, Zane. Well, Tony, let's get off the Zane bandwagon and get into the 2A for E-diversity shoots.
See, Chad, what's been going on? He took last week off, so he's just making up for last week.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I'm just laughing listening to the two single guys talk about how to get away with buying stuff so your wife won't get mad.
Well,
Hey, Tony, you don't know how many friends I've had ask me, will you hold this gun for a few weeks? Why? Because I don't want the wife to know I just bought it. Okay. Or will you help me smuggle this gun into my house? Or if my wife calls you and asks about this new Keltec, will you please tell her it's yours? Wow. First of all, I don't own a Keltec. Secondly, okay, I'll tell her it's mine.
So I'm sure we've all seen the meme, and I'm not going to call out my friend who shared it because his wife might be listening. But the whole thing about my biggest fear is that one day when I die, my wife will sell my guns for what I told her I paid for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. I don't have to deal with that either. All right.
Yeah.
Because you're in Jersey, you can't own anything that's fun.
Now his wife's just smart enough to ask somebody.
Exactly. I already see, unlike those guys, I have people my wife can go to find out the true value of my guns if I drop dead.
Exactly.
Because she knows, kill me again.
And she knows who those people are. So yeah, once she kills us, she knows who to go to sell them.
That's also why Tony's a cheap ass. But there's that.
Well, I'm cheap too, so I'm married. So that's why.
Survivability, baby. I want diversity shoot. Our next one is gonna see you there. Yep, you. See you there. Pay money. Go fund me if you really want to help it. If you want to join our Patreon, be a patron to the Patreon for 2A. You can do that. We're going to have some cool giveaways because we're putting together some stuff. Right now, we have those knives. As soon as my man Dan comes.
You're cutting out, Tony. We lost you.
For 15. Really? Mother, father.
Yeah.
All right. See, I didn't even curse. We have knives that are going to be serial numbered with our logos on it. And we're going to do a drawing and someone's going to win that. We also have other stuff that we're going to do as we get higher and higher with the number of patrons we have, including, I think we're going to give a firearm away. We're going to do some cool stuff. So that's why I'd like you to join the Patreon, and it's going to be $5 and above. You did $5 and above, you're going to be in on drawings, including stuff I get in for review and can give away. Our website, diversityshoot.com. You want to check out what we do and show your friends what we do. You can check out our Instagram. It's Simon Says Train on Instagram. You can also go to Second is for Everyone on Facebook. I'm doing some more stuff on it. I'm going to start doing more lives because it seems people like that for some reason. I have no idea. But unlike a lot of people, I'm not going to do a live if I have nothing to say because that's annoying. So that's what's going on with the Second is for Everyone. If you guys don't know what it is, it's just getting people together like us with people that have never shot a gun and with Second Amendment groups and introducing everyone to everyone else to kill stereotypes and to actually introduce people to their rights and get some educated gun owners, because way too many of us, not you guys, but your friends, don't really know the politics behind the Second Amendment and are ready to do stupid things like compromise. So we have to talk to them and we have to let them know what's going on. And that's what we do at the diversity shoots. We're going to grow. Next year is going to be huge. We're going to try to get into 3 states next year. So with your help, hope we can do it. Thanks a lot, guys. And I really appreciate being able to talk to you guys every week.
Yep. We like you to talk to us. Oh, wait, you're not talking to us right now. Never mind.
Oh, no, I was talking to everybody but you. But no,
Yeah,
thanks, guys, for letting me do this on the show.
you know, you're welcome. So I guess we'll get into the wrap up finally.
Good Lord, I need to get some sleep.
I know. Send questions, comments, or feedback to gungearreview@gmail.com. Remember to subscribe and leave us an iTunes review if you would like. If not, well, then I guess you don't have to. Check out all the other shows on the Firearms Radio Network at firearmsradio.tv. Be sure to visit the Firearms Insider for reviews and industry coverage. Check us out on Facebook at Facebook.com/Firearms Insider. Follow us at Firearms Insider on Instagram. And thank you for listening to the largest pound for pound podcast on the network. And we are out.
Bye, Felicia.
I'm working on it, guys. Give me a second.
It doesn't matter.